Dr. Satish Sato sir, Dr. Birappa Shinde sir, Dr. Pramod Kumar sir, then Sushma Kunduskar madam from SCRT, and all other dignitaries who have already joined this session. I would like to request yes. So for this fourth edition, we have invited Mrs. Harsha Chavan. I think you might have known that previously she was here in Maharashtra, in Mumbai. She was working with Regional Academic Authority Mumbai as subject expert English, and now she is shifted to UK, where she is working with one institution, and she has wonderful contribution in the area of language and teaching of English. So, without wasting, without killing her time, I would like to request Mrs. Chavan, please start your session. Chavan, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Hello, all the dignitaries from Regional Academic Authority, Aurangabad. Honorable Director, all the respected Diet HODs, SCRT Pune's officials, Diets of Maharashtra's then Educational Department officials, teachers, scholars. Thank you very much for having me here. Before we can start our session, I want to pick your brain. Can you answer in chat box? Do you think that every person should know English language? Please type yes or no in chat box or comment section. Do you think that every person should know English language? Please use the chat box. Yes, I can see your responses. Wonderful. So I think everybody mentioned that, yes, we need to know, we need to learn, we need to understand, we need to acquire English language. Hope everyone is agree with the statement. So as in our National Education Policy 2020, then STAR project, FLN, and many other initiatives regarding the language development, the government of Maharashtra, as well, our country has decided that learners should use English language in the classroom and outside the classroom. This is the motive behind all this project and initiatives and our policy, and definitely the curriculum would be designed according to that. So full of beans, we will start here with our today's session. I'm going to share my presentation today. Promote high standards. Promote high standards of teaching English language. As you are always familiar about the thing, that welcome to the team. This is our CPD, our Development and English Language Enrichment series. Welcome for this team. So learners should use this opportunity. So the topic can be looked under the following headings: high standards, English in the world today, what should curriculum aim of, making use of spontaneous language, cognitive concepts of language acquisition, what teachers do in the classroom, language teachers' competence, and enhanced diction with advanced vocabulary. With this thought, we will start with this very important note: high thoughts must have high language. Aristophanes mentioned that when we have to go to the extra mile, we have to maintain the high standards. As you know that it's very important for us for the English in the world today. So let's think about that. What are your beliefs about learning English language today? What do you think about that? We can take one answer. Raise your hands. What do you think about the English language? The prompt answer we need. Please unmute yourself and quickly answer it. What do you think about that? Okay. So, as you know that English is one of the most influential language in the world, and its popularity at the school level has been shaped by international English, which includes countries from different continents and countries with different cultures. It is daily language that can be used at home or in an office, involving a lot of communication skills. Since it involves speaking to people from different countries and having lots of interpersonal interaction too. So we should be So here you will get idea that how we can believe that it's a language of international official language, common language among people, language of science and education, internet and press speaks English. We can use English for the travel and business purpose. We can use this language for code and media in IT skills, then educational language in all sectors, in all fields, and all faculties. And this is a window for modern world. And that's why I think English is very important to know and to understand. So before we should go for the promoting high standards in language development, our aim about the curriculum should aim of a high quality education in English will teach people to speak and write fluently so that they can communicate their ideas and emotions to others. And through their reading and listening, others can communicate with them. So what types of aim we should maintain if we have to promote the high standards in language and development? So the first, very important, I can mention it, it can be very significant, that promoting high standards in English language and literacy. So we have started with the FLN here. Expertise in subject knowledge is adaptiveness. It's very important. When we are learning a new language, we have to adapt that language. So developing high interest in literature reading for both pleasure and information. The aim should be specific. So it should acquire a wide vocabulary and understanding of grammar and knowledge of linguistic conventions for reading, writing, and spoken language. So when we have to think about the writing, it should be clear, accurate, coherent, adaptive, and the style enough for a range of context, purposes, and audiences. The very important factor is that transcription. So when we have to promote high standards in language development, we should be very careful for the spellings and handwriting as well. So not only in for the listening and speaking, we should be very careful in writing as well. So the most important aim should be composition. In what manner it could be? So it could be articulating ideas and structuring them in speech and writing. Then we should communicate accurately, appropriately, and effective in speech and writing. We need to understand and respond imaginatively to what they hear and read and experience in a variety of media. We know that now the social media, various online platforms, that various doors are open for the students and for also the educators and the teachers who are really interested in developing themselves. So employer sense of critical awareness is very important aim, and that should be carefully handled when we are designing the curriculum. The language curriculum reform determines what language practitioners do towards the process of language teaching and learning. For a new curriculum to be developed, all aspects of its implementation should be considered. So language curriculum informs teachers' language teaching practices, materials, and assessments. It should able to work confidently in an atmosphere of mutual respect and tolerance, and it should have equal access to all. It should have equal aspects to all aspects of English. We need to understand it competency when the need arises, be confident readers, writers, and communicators. So here, the most important thing is that English has a preeminent place in education and in society. So high quality education in English will teach people to speak and write fluently so that they can communicate their ideas and emotions to others. And through their reading and listening, others can communicate with them. Through reading, in particular, pupils have a chance to develop culturally, emotionally, intellectually, socially, and spiritually. Literature especially plays a keynote role in such development. And here, so while we are aiming to develop the language, we should be careful about the literature development also. So reading also enables. There is no option to enrich the language. Read, read, and read is very important factor. All the skills of language are essential to participating fully as a member of society, and peoples who do not learn to speak, read, and write fluently and confidently are effectively very disenfranchised for that. So this is very important to understand that this is a well-considered solution that offers significant benefits in language development, that designing the curriculum according to that. So when we think about the language, which can be developed, which can be learned, which can be used very simply, very effectively, then the most important thing we can see that making use of spontaneous language. So here we need to improve the ability to use the target language as both the medium and target of instructions. The medium, when we are conveying our thoughts, when we are interpreting with the language should be the instructive. Communication medium should be there, and the particular, the specific subject, the topic specific language should be used. So, and that's why it should be become spontaneously very effectively. Then it should have the ability to modify target language input to render it comprehensible and learners. So here we can mention that the ability to produce well-formed input for learners. We can draw the learner's attention to feature the formal language. Here you will see the diagonal here that when we have to use the spontaneous language, the pre-verbal and early interaction is very important. Attention and listening, playful method, all the play games, activities is very important. Then understanding thing will come, then talking, and then also it goes with the promptness, and then it will go for the speech level. So this hierarchy can be used for the spontaneous language. Of course, when we are thinking about the language acquisition, this point holds a crucial significance, because a cognitive concept will explain you in detail that why it is impossible to discuss cognitive concepts of language acquisition without reference to Howard Gardner. Howard Gardner mentioned it in his book that it is very important to understand to acquire any language, the acquisition of language with these types: linguistic intelligence, visual intelligence, musical rhythmical intelligence, logical or mathematical intelligence, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence. So when we go for the linguistic intelligence, is revealed through specifically designed grammar and vocabulary exercises based on its work in dialogues. We can distinguish two stages of working with the language material. First, we can mention that the teacher presents new materials when the books are closed, and then students work on it with their books open. Then we will go for the visual intelligence, which can be developed when students do exercises supported by pictures or use flashcards. So they reconstruct their dialogues and stories with the help of stickers. For the musical and rhythmical intelligence, it can be activated when children listen to and imitate intonation and rhythm, sing songs, and they can recite the verse also. So that time it can be developed and it can be acquired. Then logical or mathematical intelligence, of course, when we are thinking about the language, all the subjects are integrated to it. So the maths, the social studies, then the art and other integrated subjects, sport related, also integrated with this intelligence. So logical mathematical intelligence is based on solving problems and puzzles, counting, analyzing elements of the whole, doing odd one out task. For example, we can consider. Then go for the bodily. This is an very important, and this can be more effective aspect for the language acquisition, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. So all the physical and the expressions can be used for it, express itself, physical activities and movement. For example, role play games, making posters and doing projects can be involved in it, and it can be more effective in the language development. Then we have interpersonal intelligence. It is necessary to pair and group work, games and team activities when we are thinking about the interpersonal intelligence. So such types of activities can be helpful for the language acquisition and learning with the interpersonal intelligence. Then when we think about the intrapersonal, please stop annotating on the screen. Stop annotation. So when we think about the intrapersonal intelligence, is based on the silent individual. I think voice is not clear.
No, it is clear, ma'am. Please carry on. I request, please don't disturb.
On the screen.
Yeah. I can see that. Please, I request participants, please don't disturb her. Ma'am, please carry on.
Okay, please clear that. So when we think about the intrapersonal intelligence, is based on the silent individual work and self-reflection. Self-reflection is very important because when we are reflecting ourselves for the new foreign language, or maybe the language which can be not familiar or not, we are not a native user of that language, then the intrapersonal skills should be very important for the language acquisition, and that we should be careful about that. So in this all journey, teachers do in the classroom. So setting goals for a lesson. So this phase refers to decisions teachers make prior to teaching a lesson. So based on my research and analysis, it is evident that it is in planning that teachers translate syllabus, guidelines, instructional expectations, and their own beliefs and ideologies of education into guides for action in the classroom. We can consider for that. For in case of the language teaching, a number of these decisions can be reflect both the teacher's level of language awareness and knowledge as well. We can here, for example, we can take that setting goals for lesson. So in planning how to use a text as a basis for a reading lesson, the teacher's language proficiency can be influenced for the students here. And which can be, we can mention here the literal comprehension tasks, where the learners complete the tasks using words and information explicitly. So it's very important to understand the thing that when we are setting the goals for the lesson, the lesson preparation should be done before our classroom interaction. So when we are using a written as opposed to a mental lesson plan, limitations in language proficiency may mean that the teacher is dependent upon a detailed written lesson plan that identifies specific lexical items. So we can mention here as a structures and other features. So when we think about the structure or other features of the languages, automatically it goes for the grammar, then the lexical point, then we will go for the formation of the language, various types of language features, and how to impart it. So it all comes in it. So thus restricting the potential scope of the lesson as opposed to the use of mental lesson plan that allows for more unpredictable language to emerge during a lesson. We need to select the text. You can find out the third point here, that input that the appropriate to the learner's level and the goals of the lesson should be very clear during the lesson planning. So when we go for the classroom interaction, the teacher should be prepared. So it's all mentioning that understanding the potential difficulty of the learners with their linguistic features of a planned activity or text that can be formed or basic for that activity. Modifying or adapting language content in the textbook, which can be suitable for the learners. Because we know that we have all types of learners in the classroom. We have the learners of beginners, then we have intermediate level students, and then we have advanced levels also. And we have some privileged students also. We have sane students, we have the students which have the special ability also. So for them, we have to design, modify or adapt the content of our textbook and as well our lesson plan. And this is the exact method we can use when we are entering in the classroom, and it can be definitely helpful for the raising the high standards. Again, we can add here that simplifying authentic text by reducing the length on reducing the length of the lesson plan or the topic. Why? Because it is very important to simplify the lesson. We need to use the simplifying vocabulary and rephrasing complex structures when we are at the beginning stage. Then gradually it will be developed. Translation. Again, we hear the word, it's very important to understand that why translation text into English. Translation here in the regard that we can use the native language as well if our students are not able to understand exactly meaning. But it should be only for clearing the idea. Again, the visuals, and that's why here I mentioned the storyboard. It is very effective tool. Have you ever gone through that storyboard? Anyone know about this storyboard? Please write in the chat box. Are you aware about the storyboard? What exactly is the storyboard? I think in our many SCRT's project, we are now using the storyboard. Are you aware about this? You can mention the example here. What is the storyboard? Yes, use the chat box for this. Yes, okay. What it is? Yes, to improve vocabulary. Okay. That's fine. Apart from this, what exactly we are doing in storyboard? See, here we can think about the concept. A storyboard is a graphic representation of how your video will unfold. So when you are developing the online resources, materials for the students, so it should be shot by shot, and it is made up of a number of squares with illustrations or pictures representing each shot, with the notes about what is going on in the scene and what is being said in the script during that shot. So this is included in the storyboard. This is the basic concept of the storyboard. So storyboarding is an incredibly powerful tool for the visual communication. When we are thinking about the creating a storyboard, so we can bring the words from the page to the life, or we can add that imagination of the text in the storyboard. So when we are thinking, so we have offline and online both. We know we can storyboard. We can design the storyboard offline also. So digital storyboard is a powerful way because it can share your story with the world. And by using visual elements like we are using in storyboard images, characters, clips, then we are adding some videos, characters and scenes. So it can create a rich and engaging experience on your audience. And this, so here audience means our students or the educators or the stakeholders who are following the scenario of developing the language. So that is very important. So here we can mention that online storyboarding tool makes it easy to create storyboards without being any artist. So there is no need to be any artist for that. Then again, we will go for the next important point of our session, which is that preparing cue cards for classroom activities is very important to understand that how we can develop the language with the help of these specific tools. Then transcribing a text from a tape or video recording. So here, teacher has to do everything, all these things in the classroom. Teacher need to designing or selecting activities that can include a focus on specific aspects of language production and communication. So here again, we have to sequence the activities, which can be based on their linguistic or communicative difficulty. So when we are thinking about choosing or designing an activity, again, we have to understand that it does not make the demands on the teacher's communicative ability. So it demands based on the need of the students. We have to think about our students' need, their requirement, their ability. And again, we have to think about all types of all levels of the students from our classroom. And it's very important to know. So here we can mention that when, So here what teachers do in general, we can say that a teacher with the limited language knowledge and discourse skills is restricted in the choice of activities available, because unless we develop ourselves, unless we develop our content knowledge, unless we develop the skills which are required as a teacher for the classroom, we can't go beyond the lines. We can't go beyond the expectations. And that's why we need to move beyond the prescribed syllabus. So when we are explaining the goals of a lesson, we should careful about the explaining the task requirements, giving instructions, using formulaic expressions and phrases for classroom routines and procedures. Here we can mention that English is the language where the classroom management is very important. Explaining the procedure for an activity, we need to give the examples. We need to show the demo of the activity before we are illustrating, before we are asking the students to participate or conduct the activity. So here it is very important to first show the demo. And then explaining procedures for an activity and modeling the pronunciation of words and sentences is very important, because this is a very important method when we are developing the language. The correct use of words, correct pronunciation, correct structure of the sentence. As a teacher, we should be careful about all these things which can be helpful for the students to for example, we can think about the challenging for the teacher to manage the since the language students use in carrying out the predictable. Sometimes teacher think that teacher has some assumptions that they can use these techniques in their lessons. They have all plans set before the classroom enter. But again, they have to be flexible in the classroom, because whatever the assumptions or predictions sometimes won't work in the classroom. And that's why teachers should be ready for that changes and the challenges. And this is exact role of the 21st century teachers in the classroom. So beyond the lights, beyond the abilities, so teachers' language ability, then a free discussion activity really matters for the classroom enrichment, development, and that class definitely will work as a excellent English classroom. Here, competence. We know that a competence is more than just a knowledge or skills. Competence is not that only we are using the word in a small scale. Here it is beyond that, knowledge and skills, because it involves the ability to meet complex demands. It can draw on mobilizing psychological resources. So when we are thinking about the competence of the teachers, it should include the skills as well as the attitudes. Teachers' attitude really matters when the language development is considered. For example, teacher has the ability to communicate effectively. It's a competence, and that may draw an individual's knowledge of language, but the practical IT skills and attitude towards those with whom the teacher is dealing, means with the learners. So it will definitely improve the communication skill among the students. And this is called as competence of the teacher. So when we're thinking about the competence, we need to understand all this content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge and ability, discourse skills. Before discourse skills comes not only at one time or the whole in the lesson. Before teaching discourse skills, during teaching and after teaching is very important. Then this is the most important highlighted point of the CPD avenues, because we know that nowadays teachers are really working hard to develop their sets. As per my concern, I should work 25% from my job to develop myself, to upgrade and upscale myself. So I can follow many CPD avenues, attending seminars, writing, blogging, conferences, paper research, innovations, then creating digital content, creating resources, studying, case studies. So everything is involved in the CPD avenues. Then again, the determining proficiency benchmark for language teachers is very important. Implications for provision of language enhancement for language teachers, 21st century skills. So all these 5 C's are involved. And apart from this, there is empathy is also important. Child safeguarding is very important nowadays. We should be careful for the child's safety and their concerns. So our prevent and the concerns are very important in the classrooms. And this is a very important competence, I think, for the teacher should be now developed in their classroom teaching. And as a teacher, they should be competence in this thing. In this area, they can work more. They can complete some online courses on prevent or child safeguarding. You will get available if you browses, then definitely you will find such types of courses. So when we think about the language production, so it should be creative, researcher, resourceful, presentable teacher, always improve the students' ability and the competence. So the competence, not only for the students, here we are caring about the competence of the teachers. And again, the important factor is that as a teacher, we should not work as an individual, we should work as a team. So team development is very important. So when we are thinking about that, involve our students in authentic communication situations, which can encourage them for the continuous flow of speech. In fact, the acquisition of language depends on the practicing it naturally. However you are practicing naturally, you will get the result, very naturally spontaneous result, which we previously mentioned. We need to give our students every possible chance to use the language. Talk as little as possible. So TTT should be less and STT should be more in the classroom for the language development. And here again, the opportunity to interact. Interaction will go in many ways, from the entering of the school till the classroom interaction and other extracurricular activities and the space time during the school time can be helpful for the interaction. So here we need to be careful. So here we should remember the various projects of Government of Maharashtra and regional academic authorities, various projects about My English program. So that will give you the definite idea that how we can develop our students' skills of the communication and the interaction, and our STT should be more. So make a lesson student centered and not the teacher centered. So this competency is very important. We need to teach the language in appropriate social context. So language is not only about the grammar and the literature, but the literature involves all the socials, emotionals, all the things which can empathy and all the skills which can be helpful for them. So the teaching media properly to make the lesson more attractive and perspective, it can be saved at time and effort. So we need to use effective means to eradicate some errors. Here we can always look what we have achieved rather than at what we have failed to achieve. So this is the fact. I think we are more focusing on that, what do I gain? But we sometimes we fail to understand that where I was lagging behind, where should I work more, and what area should I need to develop after a particular failure. So I think reflection is very important of any action or any activity. So we should be accurate in evaluating our students. So more than evaluation, we should be more focused on the assessment. Assessment should go continuously. Evaluations, we know that it goes periodically, but assessment will go continuously. And here more focus should be on the observations and pointing all the notes about students' development. This picture will give you the clear idea that what competence exactly teacher has to develop. We know that nowadays teachers should be very, should be technical knowledgeable, then they should have all the ICT literacy skills. In FLN also, we are working on the teachers, students, and all the stakeholders' ICT skills, which can be considered in operational skills. So internet literacy is very pure for all the enrichment and the development of the language. Problem solving, collaboration, safe and productive participation, creativity and expression, media literacy, cultural related communication, critical attitude, critical information processing, initiative and autonomy, flexibility and adaptability, responsibility, intercultural and social attitude. Everything is very important for the development. Then the important thing is problem solving. We need to work on the solving the problem. What problems comes when we are entering the classroom, when we're dealing with any activity, when we're dealing with a topic. So that time teacher should be ready to solve the problem. So these skills not only should be the teacher should adopt, but the students need to develop these skills throughout the language development. Whatever the area of the development they have, they need to be ready to work on it. They need to think about the critical thinking skills. We know that the hat of the critical thinkings. So that hats we should use to solve the problems. Later we have the very. So here I would like to mention one quote. The purpose of staff development is not just to implement or isolated instructional innovations. So its central purpose is to build strong collaborative work cultures that will develop the long-term capacity for change. Michael Fall has mentioned this. Why it is mentioned? Because it is about the teacher's competence, teacher's development, teacher's enrichment. So here we will find some types of this teacher development. Customized teacher training workshops. So we are now getting lots of training from the government of Maharashtra, and we are in the various modules has been designed. So for it should be customized. Then the important factor that leadership development sessions. The sessions, when we are designing the modules, when we are conducting such types of trainings, programs, or sessions, workshops, the leadership development sessions should be involved in each and every workshop. When we are implementing such things in the classroom, the same implementation skills, how we can implement those content, those modules in our classroom, so that training should be given. Then the holistic development session, it covers all emotional, social, physical, then as well all aspects about the social communicative to understand the development of the students. So how it goes, how it will work. So such types of sessions we need to involve in our trainings and workshop, whatever the modules we are designing. And the most important is the professional development community. So how many of you have joined any professional community? Hope everyone from this platform are here, are involved in the professional community. Do you think that you are involved in any type of professional community? Use the chat box. Yes. Very good. NFE Nirmala Yadav, ma'am mentioned here. She is involved in LFW. Okay. You can mention the name of the professional development community, open learning communities. Yes, we have INET is here, ITAFL is here. Apart from this, open learning communities. Yes, Shinaz ma'am. She's mentioning something. Okay. It's mentioned the community. We have Cambridge community also. So such types of professional development communities will help the teachers to develop themselves for the language area, because we can find that there are many online sessions are going on, many workshops are going on, conferences going on in person and online. You will get the platform to share and you will get the idea. You can interact for that. Of course, CPD, British Councils, communities. So I'm really glad that you are a part and parcel of such types of professional communities. So this is, I think, the most recommendations everyone can give to the teachers, that we need to participate in open or professional development community for the raising the high standards in teaching. Thank you. Very good. So I'm really happy with this answers, that all have the same types of opportunity when they are sharing the platform. When it comes for the enhancement in language, enhancement in the personality, enhancement in the way you are carrying yourself while using any new language, foreign language, or a second language, ESL. So enhanced diction with advanced vocabulary is very important. We know that diction. What is the term diction means? So here diction means the choice and the use of words and phrases in speech or writing is called as a diction. So when we have to enhance that diction, light-hearted conversation about language change, debates, and differences, the new words, old sayings, slang, family expressions, whatever the words, origin, root words, we should be careful about that, histories, etymology, linguistics, regional dialects, word games and puzzles, grammar books, literature, writers and writing, and more things. We should be careful about that. So good diction is important for many reasons. So if you want to feel good about your speaking voice, you may feel more confident when expressing ideas, meeting new people, and communicating with others. Again, it can also motivate you to take risks or confront challenges while improving your satisfaction with your work and relationships. Good diction helps you explain your ideas, concerns, and expectations clearly. And it can be effectively work for your students as well. So when you speak clearly with the right tone, it may help others perceive that you are a confident speaker, of course. and the knowledge is really trustworthy. When your dictions improve, your knowledge, you can be considered as a knowledgeable person. You can be considered as the most trustworthy person. So here I can share that you will find the information invaluable for this, for your endeavors. Read, read and read. Tongue twisters exercises, imprecise mouth movements, imitate good public speakers, podcasts, applications, videos, trainings and seminars, use pronunciation dictionary, develop a reading habit, thesaurus or dictionary, recording yourself. These are all the ways, some of the tips I would like to share with you about enhancing your dictions. And here you can use the advanced vocabulary for that. So yes, I can find some answers in the chat box. I appreciate our engaging dialogue here. Thank you very much. But considering the time, we can discuss it later. So it has been rewarding experience talking with you. That language is not a genetic gift. It is a social gift, right? And when we are thinking about the level of our vocabulary, here I would like to share with you some of the examples. Here, for example, if I have to use the uncomfortable situation, so instead of that, using the uncomfortable situation, I will just say that a fish out of pond. Then if I have to say having many responsibilities, sometimes you have do the multitask, you have to be multitasker. So instead of that, I can say that when I have to use the enhance my diction, so I will say here that a lot on my plate. So here we need to improve the vocabulary in such a way. Then if it is an important day for you, then you can say that a red letter day. This is called as a enhancing. Then far from the reality. We will mention it here as all moonshine. To unlike people or things, of course, here we can say apples and oranges. When we are talking about a difficult situation or choice between or anything, any scenario, that time we can use the word as between the horn of dilemma. If we are doing something very quickly and rapidly, you can see that some teachers and some students are very quick in all the doing things. So here we can say that by leaps and bounds. When we are talking about the day before yesterday, normally we're using in the classroom the day before yesterday. So here we can say yesterday. When we are thinking about the day after tomorrow, we can say overmorrow. We know that the dot we are using when we are completing the sentence, we are using full stop. And sometimes we are using the dot on the paper. So it is called as a till. When we are thinking about the exclamation mark or question mark, so it's called as an interrobang. So here is the way to enhance the diction, to advance your vocabulary. So these are the ways I think always comes out from understanding anything. So here are some techniques, how you can enhance diction. Here are some steps that slow and steady. Track your progress. Whatever you are doing, you are listening the music, you are listening the podcast, you are watching the movies with the subtitles or without subtitles. So whatever you are doing, you need to note down your progress, that what you know previously and where you are now. Then the rise and fall of the intonation. Intonation is very important factor when you are using a new language, when you are adopting any foreign language. So it's very important, and that's why from the primary level, from the beginning of our stages of the teaching, in the developing the curriculum, we need to be careful about the developing the pronunciation, about the phonetics. Yes, from the beginning we need to give our students now phonetics practice. It's really, I would highly recommend it from the key stage 1. Then we can use the play word games to enhance the diction. We can use the mix it's card here, then learn from context, use it or lose it. Such types of games are very important. Then create word associations. So these are some of the way where you can develop your dictions. Apart from this, I would like to recommend here that you can follow some of the exams as a teacher. You can give some exams. Do you have idea about TOEFL, CFR, then TESOL, TFL, then CELTA, Delta? Anyone from you has given that exams previously, IELTS exams? Have you come across it? Yes, here are the ways. Yes, arrange seminars, watching news for the enhancing diction. Excellent. No, okay. No worry. So I would like to recommend here that you can participate with such types of exams. Would you like to know about this in short? See, when we are talking about the CFAR, so it's called as the Common European Framework for Reference of Language. It's called as a CFAR. So what exactly are the different levels of language learning? Many teachers and experts around the world use this Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, which is called CAFR. And it has 6 levels. The beginner, which is called A1, when it is goes for the advanced, it goes for the C2. And it is not just in Europe, it is used all around the world, and it is practical tool that can be used to organize study content in classes, curriculum, learning resources, and exams. So by using such types of assessment test, definitely you can be confident in using the language. Apart from this, for when you go for the levels, so let me know you that if it is A1 to A2, it is called as a basic level. When it comes, which is called as Cambridge English qualification, at this level, it is included for the young learners. When it goes for the A2 key for schools, then CFR level B1 to B2, it is called as an independent level. When it is called for the Cambridge English qualifications at this level, so it is called as a B1 preliminary for schools and B2 first for schools. You will get, I will drop my email in the chat. If you want to know more about such types of exams, definitely I will help you. Then when you go for the C1 to C2, it is called as a proficient level, and it is an advanced or proficiency. C1 is advanced and C2 is proficiency. Then you know that TESOL, many of the scholars from here, just now we have Suyog sir and Mr. Nisar sir is here. They are sharing the platform as well as they are in UK. Now they are completing their master's in TESOL. So what exactly is TESOL? It stands as a teaching English to speakers of other languages. So it refers to the teaching English to non-native English speakers, either abroad or in English speaking countries. And though it is not often used to refer the language instruction, it occurs English speaking countries, and it can be helpful for the other languages users. So definitely, I will recommend you to do online, though it is not possible, teachers to do it physically or in person, but they can do it online. There are some courses of the TESOL. You can go for that. Then there is a ESOL, which I am doing now, which is called as English for speakers of other languages. So it is especially used in UK to refer to the teaching of English to students whose first language is not English, but who are living in an English-speaking country. And for them, it is a ESOL. There are other types of ESOL, teaching ESOL also. Then we have TEFL. TEFL stands for, it calls as a teaching English as a foreign language, because now we are using English as a foreign language, as a sometimes we are using it as a second language. Then we have the TOEFL. Of course, we heard about it, that it is English as a foreign language. So this test assess the potential to the non-native English speakers who plan to study for the English-speaking universities. They can appear for this, or there are options for the IELTS also. So it is it stands for as the International English Language Testing System. You can develop and run by the British Council in partnership also for that. Individually, there are other platforms also for doing this. But definitely, although you don't want to go anywhere or don't want to do your higher studies or something for that. But for your enhancement and raising the high standards, I would highly recommend such types of courses for you. Then you even there is a PTE also, which called as a Pearson test of English. So it determines the candidate's level of English. That by testing their fundamental language skills, we have language, we have listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So it tests those skills, and definitely it is helpful to understand the native language. There are some useful websites also. For example, ed.ted, which can be helpful for the vocabulary. Then BBC Learning for the spoken English. Then you have younglish.com. It can be helpful to practice the pronunciation. Then there is a lyricstraining.com. This can helpful for the practicing English as a non-native speaker. Then again, we have some of the other languages testing, language test, or as if you want to become the English teacher trainer. So you can go for the CELTA or Delta. So CELTA is a certificate in English language teaching to adults. So you can go for this assessment. Yeah, it is from Cambridge Assessment, UK. Then diploma in teaching English to speakers of other languages. It can advance the blend of theory and practice the provisions of the professional development for the teachers. So I would highly recommend for this. So I think you have all got your points for the raising the high standards in English language as a teacher and how we can work with the students. So I think learning a new language is becoming a member of the club. So the community of speakers of that language, I think we should be proud of sharing such types of platform for understanding a language which is globally recognized and globally concerned as to study and gain more knowledge and conquer the world. I think we need to develop for that. So now let's go and create opportunities for all expertise here. It's question time. If you have any questions, feel free. If you have any questions, thank you for today. You can ask the questions. The stage is yours now. You can use the chat box. You can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Thank you very much, Honorable Director, Honorable Tade sir, and all the expertise here, all the officials for listening me. You are all your ears for the presentation. Thank you for that. If you have any doubts,
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. If anybody has any doubt, please feel free to ask ma'am. Now the session is open for discussion. I request participants, please ask any question, any doubt if you have. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. People asking for links and other details, please do share them.
In chat box, I'm typing my email address. You can go for that. DM me. Okay. I have shared this. Okay, 1 second. Everyone in meeting, they will get this. Okay, it's badguja.harsha@gmail.com. Yeah, there are many trainings available. Mr. Satish Shinde sir is asking the question that how many teachers? So there are continuous teachers are going for the teachers in Maharashtra as well. Globally, you can find out many ways and the links for the trainings, online trainings, the sessions. And I really would like to mention here that all the trainings are really helpful and they are free of cost. So why should we not taking advantage of these things? Definitely we need to take. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarup sir. If you want to share any your experience about language development, feel free to share with us.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for such a wonderful session. This is really well studied and well planned session, and you have touched various avenues of CPD for language teacher. I think this is a very important aspect as far as a language teacher is concerned. So, friends, this informative and thought provocative session, I would like to congratulate and thank to Mrs. Chavan ma'am. You have touched various aspects of language learning. Friends, as we know that language is the most prominent factor in education, but at the same time, we cannot deny the importance of our vernacular, because for better understanding we have to adopt uh, proficiency in both languages at the same time. And the point you have focused here, I think, ma'am, teachers should be creative, innovative, resourceful, and presentable. I think every teacher has to consider all these things. And one of the important thing that you have touched, that language is not a genetic gift, but it is a social gift. It is a social competence, and everyone must have to consider all these things. Thank you, ma'am. So for such a wonderful session, I think certainly it would help our teachers to enhance their capacity as a language teacher, and it would certainly help them in their classroom interaction also. Thank you for joining here. Now, I would like to request our director, Dr. R.D. Kamble sir. Dr. Kamble sir recently joined as a director to Regional Academic Authority Aurangabad here. He is very supportive. When he knew that such kind of initiative is being launched by Regional Academic Authority, he has given us support to continue this program, and he has attended this whole session here. Now, I would like to request Dr. Kamble sir to guide us. Kamble sir, please.
Rajendra Kamble sir, I think raised the hand.
Hello.
Rajendra Kamble.
Hello.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, he is there. Kamble sir.
Unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon, all of you.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
Yes.
Regional Academic Authority is organizing a webinar series for student teachers and teacher educators. Today is the fourth edition of this webinar. The guest is Mrs. Harsha Chavan ma'am. Topic of the session is promote high standards of teaching English language. We all of enjoy this session. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Tade sir, HOD of English, has given a valuable time to organizing this program. Our authority conducts various activities for the development of teachers. It is not only in the point of education, but also it gives you the confidence that is needed. In my opinion, everyone should take advantage of this opportunity. I would like to thank all members who are working hard for this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to tell everyone that under the guidance of Dr. Kamble sir, we are going to initiate various activities to enhance the capacity of language teacher across Maharashtra. You can see in future recently. Thank you. Before winding up the session, I would like to thank one and all Dr. Rajendra Kamble sir, our director, he has joined the station and he addressed us. At the same time, I would like to thank Mrs. Harsha Chavan, who has given such a wonderful station here. Then Dr. Satish Sato sir, my colleague, Dr. Virappa Shinde sir, Dr. Urmila Hadekar, Sushma Kunduskar, and all the dignitaries who have joined, all the teachers. I am very happy that all of you have joined here. Dr. Pramod Kumawat is also here. So we'll continue this series. We will join next fortnight for the this webinar, and we will invite another guest to communicate with us. Now, before winding this session, I'm again thankful to one and all. Thank you very much. Good day to all of you.
Everyone. Have a great day. Thank you. Please stop the streaming.